Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a new edition of Listen, Learn, and Leverage. This is where we're going to illuminate your blind spots and help you grow your entrepreneurial business. Today, I have with me the best marketing consultant, Jen DeVore. Good morning.
Good morning, Trisha. Great to be here.
And she's, thanks. I always forget there's a little lag, so I get excited about my guests. So I'll try to remember the lags.
That's okay.
So what's exciting about, thank you. What's exciting about you, Jen, is that you've always been in marketing. But I think when I saw these questions, I was like, ooh, I want to know more about what was it like to work at the Kennedy Space Center?
Yeah, so I have always been in marketing. That's what I studied in college, and I've worked for big brands and including ABC Television, Wyeth Pharmaceuticals. But the job that most people gets their attention, the hook that gets me booked, is that I used to be the manager of advertising for NASA at Kennedy Space Center. That was my, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere job. And my claim to fame there was that I created their first ever direct response television advertising campaign. And most people go, well, why does NASA need an advertising person? That doesn't really make sense. And the truth is that Kennedy Space Center is one of the top 5 most visited tourist attractions in the state of Florida, competing with Walt Disney World, SeaWorld, Universal Studios. And so my job was to steal them away from the mouse and get tourists to come to Kennedy Space Center and bring their kids for a fun educational experience and talk about the importance of the space program and spread some patriotism around the globe. So that's what I did. And it was amazing. I got to work with astronauts. Buzz Aldrin used to call me on the phone. I handled his book publicity campaigns and his appearances while he was at the Space Center with us. And so I got to work with astronauts, go up on the space shuttle launch pad and walk around the astronaut changing area where they suit up to go into space, and had all these amazing experiences. And it was just one of the highlights of my life.
That's amazing. Well, and what made you change from working at NASA to becoming an entrepreneur yourself?
Probably the thing that makes most people leave corporate work, the time. I was literally working all of the time. I would come in at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I would leave at around 6 or 7 at night on a normal day. And then I was doing a master's program. So Webster University had a college campus just for Space Center employees right on the base. And so I would leave to go to night school.
Oh, wow.
And stay at night school till 9:30 at night. But these long work days were just crushing me. They literally were crushing me. And I had no personal life. So even though I really loved what I did as a job, it was this really life-changing, so inspiring experience to be around these people that are doing these epic things, right? It inspired me to want to do epic things with my life. And even though I was doing that and managing these multi-million-dollar ad campaigns and doing all these really cool things, my personal life was really suffering. I had no personal life. In fact, I had gotten engaged at the time when I worked there, and my then fiance told me that he wasn't going to marry me if I had that job, because I was like really married to my career. And so that was why I left, was because I wanted to be able to have a personal life and get married and, do all the things that normal people do without being chained to my desk all the time. So I left Kennedy Space Center. And from there, I actually went into pharmaceutical sales, working for Wyeth Pharmaceuticals, chasing the money, chasing the hours, but I was very unhappy there, super unfulfilled. It didn't fit right with me. And there's no creativity. There's no, they're like, do this, say this. It's all, FDA regulated. And that just didn't work with my personality. So I decided to go out on my own and be an entrepreneur.
Wow. And so you stuck with your marketing. And so what would you say, and how long have you been an entrepreneur?
So I left corporate work in 2003. So a long time. Coming up on, so 17, 18 years. Yeah. Yeah. So I've had
Wow.
all of the experiences. I'm on my fourth business that I've owned in the last, 17, 18 years. This is the fourth one. And I've had some I had an epic failure, not due to my fault, but I had an epic failure, and I've had some major wins as well. So it's been a journey.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It's always such a journey. And I always think of failure as this thing that it's just on the same road as success, but success is just further down. And so you just kind of fail yourself into success, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, totally. I always say there's winning and learning, not winning and losing. So the the epic failure that I had was, I come out of corporate work and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be in control of my own hours. I'm going to set my, schedule. I'm going to decide how much money I make, and I'm going to be in control of it. But I truthfully fell into the trap of working all the time, and I wasn't even making that much more money than I was working at corporate, but I had all this added stress, right? And, I was running around I was kind of doing what they tell you to do when you start a company. They're like, first thing you do, get a website, get a business card, join the Chamber of Commerce. Like that's the recipe, right? So that's what I did. And I was like, okay, I'll get a website, business card, start handing them out at networking events. And, I started to realize, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm working myself to death. I'm not making the money that I deserve to make. Like, this isn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth it.
Right.
And then I got really sick, and I basically lost everything. I had to close down I had this cute little office at the beach in Atlantic Beach, Florida, had my one employee, the whole thing. I got so sick because I hadn't built my marketing to be scalable, replicable, to produce leads while I'm sleeping, or recovering from surgery. I hadn't done all that.
Right.
So when I got really sick, I lost it all. I had to close up my office. I had to let my employee go. But I was like, one day I was sitting on the couch recovering from surgery, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, Jen, you know what to do. You've been doing this your whole entire life. You ran advertising campaigns and marketing campaigns for NASA at Kennedy Space Center. Why don't you just do what you know to do? Quit listening to the status quo.
Right.
People that are telling you how to build a business, that's not the right way. And that's the truth, because the fact is most businesses don't succeed doing it that way, right? They don't succeed
No.
one business card at a time. So that was a wake-up
Mm-mm.
call for me. And I decided to do what I did at Kennedy Space Center and in my corporate career for myself as an entrepreneur. And then everything changed. So while it was a major flop, it was a great opportunity for me to learn and to decide to do it differently.
Absolutely. Well, and what would you say are the biggest opportunities for entrepreneurs and their marketing in 2021?
So for 2021, right now I'm having so much fun and getting great results also, because I'm a results oriented marketing person, with video. And I've created my YouTube channel. And the reason why I did that was because I love speaking. I love sharing my ideas. I love giving away, my best ideas for free. And when the pandemic hit and we could no longer go to conferences, I could no longer get up on stages. I could no longer, share my ideas from stage. I needed to create a
Right.
platform for myself to be able to do that consistently. And so I started my YouTube channel this year, and I'm releasing a video every week. It's working like gangbusters.
Ooh.
I've got leads coming in, on autopilot. And so it's beginning to produce the same result that I was getting when I was getting in front of a live audience.
Oh, wow. What is your YouTube channel?
Just my name, Jen DeVore Richter. It has my married name on the end of it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Putting it in there.
Cool.
That's cool. And so, marketing is super
Mhm.
important. I know marketing is super important. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, that's where they tend to start. But really, I feel like you've got to start at your foundation and build into marketing. But what are big opportunities for people to market the right way in 2021?
So the first thing you need to have, what we're talking about, foundations, right? Before you get into what tactics or what media platform, the first thing you need to have is what I call your market dominating position statement. Okay. And this is different from a USP, which a lot of entrepreneurs will say, oh, I've got a USP. And they'll usually think it's they'll say something like, well, we've been in business since 1964 and we're family owned and we have the best customer service. And the reality is that doesn't matter in the mind of your client. It doesn't. Any business could say that. If your competition could say we have the best customer service or we're family owned and operated, that's not really a market dominating position statement. You have to have the hook that gets you booked, really, like my NASA experience. You have to have that hook that gets you booked that no one else can say. I can say with certainty, there is not a business coach on the planet that used to work for NASA running ads. There's not. Okay. I'm the only one. Okay. So, if you want that, if you want to have, a high-end business coach with amazing out of this world experience, I'm your girl. Right now, another way to explain this is Domino's Pizza. This is one that everybody can relate to. Domino's Pizza, when they came on the market, they didn't say, we've got the best pizza with the freshest ingredients flown in from Italy. They didn't claim that because that wasn't true. Their pizza's garbage, in my opinion, right? But they did say, fresh, hot pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed, or it's free. Okay. They didn't talk about how many years they had been in business. They didn't talk about that they were family owned. They didn't talk about anything other than what really mattered to their customer base. And that was that you were going to get a pizza delivered to your door and not have to leave your dorm room. Right. So what is it about your company? What is it about what you do? What is the promise that you make and deliver, not to make a pun, but what is the promise that you make and deliver to your clients? What is the big idea? What's the difference? And use that as the foundation in all of your marketing. Don't make it about you. Right. Make it about the promise. Now, the other thing about Domino's and their 30-minute promise is that they had to build the whole entire infrastructure of their company around being able to do that. They had to hire drivers. They had to have pizza locations on every corner. They had to build the business in order to deliver that. It's not just a fancy marketing tagline. It is the promise and the outcome that you deliver for your clients. That's the most important thing that any business owner needs.
Absolutely. It's not really what you do. It's how you make your clients feel.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. And that's what creates, a lot of people want to talk about branding and brand consistency, but that is what creates it, is that experience that your clients get, that ability to deliver whatever your promise is excellent and consistently over time, every time.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and so that leads into another great question. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make?
The biggest mistake that they make is, kind of like Me Too marketing. They look at their competition and say, oh, we can do that too. And they don't have a unique something about them that they haven't tapped into it. They do have it, but they haven't tapped into that unique promise, that unique delivery, that unique promise. Like Geico is another example for my insurance friends. Geico's promise is they'll save you 15% or more on car insurance in 15 minutes, right? That's a promise. Yes. They don't say we have the best car insurance. We have the cheapest car insurance. They've gotten really specific on what their promise is. So now when you see their ads, they're going to have the gecko and then they're going to have the promise, right? So it's consistency is, and a promise and delivering on that promise and then, that if you call them, that's what they're going to do. They're going to find you the 15%. Right. They have to do it. It's their brand promise. And so that the big mistake is that business owners don't have that. They haven't tapped into what their market dominating position statement is and what their unique difference is. That's one big mistake.
I love market dominating position. I love that. That's awesome. Well, and so what do you think are some of the keys to building a really strong and successful business?
So you have to know, what category you're going to be in. Okay. So if you don't want to be the company that delivers on the 15% promise, or if you don't want to be if you're not delivering a promise of saving money, or if you're not delivering the promise of saving time, like in Domino's, then you need to know what category are you in. So you might want to be the category exclusive. You might want to be the most high end. You might want to be the fanciest, like Christian Louboutin shoes or Tiffany jewelry, right? That's okay. Yeah. So you need to know, where do you fit in your market, and how are you going to stand out? Celebrity association is another way of doing this, of saying, so my favorite example of this is the George Foreman grill. I mean, think about what the George Foreman grill is without George Foreman. It's just a grill.
Right.
There's nothing fancy to it.
That's
Right.
so true.
But they were smart enough. The marketers were smart enough. And they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to hire the most famous celebrity that people respect and love. And we're going to put him in every home in America. And we're going to attach his celebrity and his brand. We're going to borrow his brand equity. We're going to borrow the fact that Americans know, love, and trust him. And we're going to attach it to our product. Right. So that's another way to do this, to dominate your market.
Absolutely. Well, now, and if you're a solopreneur and you're trying to really dominate your market, where would you suggest that they start?
So you have to, again, say, what is it that you want to be? Do you want to be known as the most high end? Do you want to be known as the cheapest? Do you want to be known as the fastest? Do you want to be known as a coach that saves money? Like one of my promises is that I can find my coaching fees in 45 minutes. I can cover my entire annual coaching fees in a 45-minute phone call before a client signs a contract with me. That's one of the promises that I deliver. So plus I want to be known as the best, the high end, the exclusive, because I used to work at NASA. I position myself as a celebrity, right? I'm on the cover of my magazine. There's the photo that you took on our photo shoot. I'm on the cover of my magazine. I have books, right? So I associate myself as a celebrity. So I've decided how I'm going to market, and I've made all these decisions very deliberately. So if you're a solo entrepreneur, the same is true for you. It's, how do you want to be known? And then you build the business around that, right? And so it's not about taglines. Doesn't matter about your logo. Nobody knows what my logo looks like. It doesn't matter, right? It's about your promise.
You're right.
It doesn't matter. Your brand is not that. Your brand is the promise. So you've got to know what that is and how you want to be known in the market.
That's incredible. Gosh. Well, so tell us about your magazine, Boss Women. I can't say it today. Boss Women Rock. I did it. Boss Women Rock magazine.
Boss Women Rock. So I was inspired to create Boss Women Rock when I was speaking at conferences, and I would go to Chamber of Commerce events or women leadership conferences or entrepreneur conferences. And I would meet so many women that would say, Jen, what you're talking about, I've never heard of before. I've never even thought of marketing my business this way or growing profit in my business this way. I've never, how do I get more? And so I decided to build a community of women entrepreneurs that really want what I built for myself. They want to have a highly profitable business that doesn't run them, that gives them the freedom, that gives them the lifestyle, that gives them, the opportunities, the business growth that they want, and to be positioned as an expert in their industry. So that's what it is. That's what Boss Women Rock is a community of women that want those things out of their business and out of their life. And one of the ways, because I have to walk my talk, right? One of the ways that I have built that community is through my magazine. I give my magazine away for free. And the follow-up, the thank you, is that you are invited to join the community. And we're about 750 members strong at this point, growing every day. Wow. Yeah, it's super cool. So that's what it is. It's a community, and it's a magazine, and it's a business growth system. It's a way of attracting what you want, attracting your ideal clients, attracting abundance into your life.
That's incredible. That's awesome. Well, so tell us, what one last piece of advice would you like to give the listeners?
I mean, really, my piece of advice is what I tell my clients, my mastermind members. It's really, take a step back. Take a step back from chasing the shiny objects in your business. I know everyone's jumping on Clubhouse right now, and there's always, do I need to be on Clubhouse? Do I need to be on Instagram? Take a moment and put a halt. put the brakes on jumping into new shiny objects. What I would want for you, the best piece of advice I could get, is for your marketing to become just a regular part of how you do your life, a regular part of how you run your business. And in order to do that, you need to have a strategy. You need to know what pieces in what order at what time, and how do they all work together. Because if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're not getting the result that you really desire and deserve, then put a halt on tactics and let's go back to the basics and look at your strategy.
That's awesome. That's very sage advice. I absolutely agree with that. There are too many shiny objects, and I'm with you. Luckily I don't have an iPhone, so I can't get on Clubhouse.
Okay.
I was very thankful for that.
So, what I do is I got an invitation to Clubhouse. So I grabbed my username, I set up my profile. I'm like, okay, it's there. It's there when I'm ready, but I'm not ready. I'm focused on what I need to be doing right now in order to grow my business. And that is the tried and true, the typical things that I do every day with predictability to grow my business. That's it. And then I'll go there eventually, but not today.
I agree. Well, thank you, Jen. This has been awesome and informative. And I love what you do. And I love Boss Women Rock magazine. It is a beautiful magazine and it's so informative, and I love the interviews. And so please keep that going. And gosh, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Tricia. I appreciate it.
Yay. All right. Jen DeVore, everybody. bosswomenrockmagazine.com, and I'll leave her YouTube in the comments as well, and so you can get a hold of Jen, get involved with her community. I always love women who want to love up on other women. So again, thank you, Jen. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.